If you thought goldenly breaded McDonald's chicken couldn't get more golden, think Golder, because new sweet and smoky special edition gold sauce is here. Made for your chicken favorites at participating McDonald's for a limited time.
We all know that working in a small business means you wear many hats, but sometimes you really need an extra pair of hands. Upwork is how good companies find great and trusted freelance talent. With more than 2 decades of experience, with a simple and ambitious goal to pioneer a better way of working. Posting a job on Upwork is easy with no cost to join. You can register, browse freelance profiles, get help drafting a job post, or even book a consultation. From there, you connect with freelancers that get you and can easily hire them to take your business to the next level. Upwork makes the entire process easier, simpler, and more affordable with industry-low fees. Post a job today and hire tomorrow with Upwork. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Attack the Baseline, a WNBA podcast where every episode we attack our baseline knowledge of the WNBA. We're your hosts, John and Kristen Barber, and today we're back to close out our talking about every team in the W. While we still have the chance, we still have to talk about the LA Sparks, a team that was unfortunately eliminated from playoff contention last night, but we still got to project their future and do a little postmortem on their season as a whole. And we're going to get into all of that and talk a little Unrivaled as well. But before we do, Kristen, how are ya?
I'm all right. It is the very last night of the WNBA season.
Nice little rhyme there. Like a poem.
I'm a poet.
You're all right on the last night.
True. There's 4 games, and still the standings are up in the air.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
So we may have to stay up late. Some of these games are at 10.
That's true. That's true. We need to know. Like, the game that probably is the highest relevance is the 10 o'clock game, Aces Sparks. Would have mattered if, the Storm didn't end up forcing the Sparks out of the playoffs by winning their game. Could have been really interesting. If I'm calling these games, New York versus Chicago, New York and Phoenix has been defined as the 4-5 matchup. So New York doesn't really have much to play for. Phoenix is also playing tonight against Dallas. Phoenix doesn't have anything to play for. But then you look at Golden State versus Minnesota. Golden State with a win becomes a 6 seed. Golden State with a loss becomes the 8 seed. I don't think Minnesota is going to be looking to play really anybody. So that should be a game that's available for Golden State to win if they really do want to jump up to 6 or take their chances and play Minnesota in the first round. And then, like I said before, the Aces are, I think, going to be going out of their way to play really hard. I expect everybody to play, and in the hopes that they can lock up the 2 seed and jump above Atlanta. Otherwise, Atlanta's going to end up being our 2 seed. So plenty at play. Here.
Well, it depends on our Los Angeles Sparks.
That's true. Can our Sparks force the Vegas? Can they deliver the first loss in 16 games to the Las Vegas Aces? You're going to have to watch and find out. And if you're listening to this and you already know what happens, well, maybe the Sparks did it, and we're cheering as they head off to Cancun and the off season. So, as I mentioned, this is Attack the Baseline. Thank you for joining us today as we talk about these LA Sparks. If you'd like to send us an email, you can do so at our email, attackthebaseline@gmail.com. Connect with us on Bluesky, Instagram, TikTok at ATBPod. Send us a 5-star rating and review on whatever platform it is that you listen. Help to support the show. Let us know how much you enjoy our little chit chats here. And just subscribe on whatever platform if you aren't already, to make sure that when we're dropping red hot playoff pods, that you're ready for those as soon as they come across your feeds. So before we talk Sparks, we got some major Unrivaled news. For those of you that are listening and are unfamiliar with what Unrivaled is, that is the 3-on-3 women's basketball league that takes place over the offseason. That was created by Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart. First inaugural year was this past season, and it was incredible. It was an incredible watch. There were 6 teams of 6 players, plus a couple of relief players, that got to play in Miami in an exciting format of 3-on-3 basketball. And the league, unbeknownst to any of us, yesterday afternoon decided to say, yeah, we're going to expand the league to 8 teams, and we're going to add 2 new basketball clubs, the Hive Basketball Club and the Breeze Basketball Club. Kristen, how are you feeling when this news drop?
This is crazy. Like Unrivaled, last year, Unrivaled would not give us a crumb of new information without hinting at it for a week ahead of time. Every day, a hint, here's a hint. And like, that was very fun. But what happened to the hints? Now I'm just dropped this information out of nowhere.
I'm trying to remember. Did they hint at the clubs?
No.
They didn't. They were just like,
you mean last year?
Yeah, once a day they revealed like a club. They did like an emoji, and then they would like post the little like reveal trailer.
No, I think it was all in the one video that they dropped. That was like, here's the clubs and we're creating the teams. But it was at least like there was all a huge lead up to this video that they dropped of explaining everything. Now nothing.
It was shocking, like legitimately shocking, just to have this news completely unprompted, because the way we understood it, the league was planning to expand to 8 teams in 2027. However, they said, no, let's just bump up that schedule, expand to 8 in 2026. And we were all under the impression that rosters, because so many players were dealing with injury during Unrivaled because of the pace of play and, there was no real break. They were kind of constantly playing. There were back-to-backs and whatnot. That they were going to expand these teams from 6 players to 7 or maybe even 8 when we still thought it was going to be 6 teams. Or maybe they were going to increase their relief player pool so that there were more options for teams instead of like, oh yeah, we have to cancel a game because not enough players are healthy. Yeah, that happened when Kristen and I were there in Miami. But alas, no, but instead they decide we're going to add 2 more teams of 6 players, and we're going to add a development group of 6 players on rookie contracts who will be participating in scrimmages and practices and have full access to all the equipment to be alongside the other teams of 6. They're also going to be, I would assume, filling in cases of injured players. And they're also being guaranteed the minimum 6-figure salary that a player could make in Unrivaled as an opportunity for these 6 players, whoever they may be, to develop their skills in the offseason. Wow. I think it's really cool. And I don't know who would be considered for those 6 players, because we are expecting rookies from this past class to be members of some of these squads. Your Paige Beckers, Sonia Citron, who said that she's gotten a call from Unrivaled, likely to take the call. Sanaya Rivers has said that she's committing to Unrivaled. I don't think she's necessarily someone that would be in that development squad. I think she would be on a full team, but who's to say? But I think it's cool because they are specifically focusing on those players in their 1st to 4th year of W experience and giving them an opportunity to grow in this offseason.
That is very cool. Very cool that they're still giving them a 6-figure salary. That's so nice. I love them.
Very nice.
I imagine, they will at first not be on teams, but just like seeing how everything went last year, like they're going to be playing in games
right
alongside these players. So that is good.
Right.
You said they have to be on rookie contracts in the W?
to be in that 6, in that development pool.
Yeah, that is interesting. Because I don't really know who that could be.
I have like rolled around thoughts in my head of a JJ Quinterly, a Isaiah James.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have thought maybe an Anissa Morrow, but we learned today that Anissa Morrow has agreed to play in Athletes Unlimited in the offseason. So there's another rookie. Maybe like a Haley Jones is a player that I could see, because she's still on a young contract. But it's interesting when you really think about it.
Maybe like, how long are rookie contracts for? 3 years?
3 or 4 years. It depends.
Maybe like Diamond Miller.
Yeah, I believe friend of the pod Laura would say she was hopeful for a Diamond Miller. Diamond Miller, a player that definitely could stand to, have some off-season minutes.
Maybe
continue to develop.
A Grace Berger.
Perhaps a Grace Berger.
It's going to be the whole Dallas Wings roster, basically.
it could be a lot of Dallas Wings players. But I'm very interested to see what they do there, because I do anticipate that they would probably still need to make some calls. Well, hopefully, knock on wood, we don't need any relief players, and that this development pool can be those relief players. What's interesting to me is that when you think about who was a relief player in the previous season, your Natisha Heineman, Benijah, Ariel Atkins, some of those players are not confirmed to be returning to Unrivaled. However, I would imagine that at least 2 of our reserves from this previous season will be going on to replace Katie Lou Samuelson and Courtney Vandersloot, who will not be returning to Unrivaled because they will be dealing with their ACL injuries. So there's that.
Well, yeah. So the relief pool is only 6. So that's not even 1 hurt player per team.
Right. But I think there were only 6, maybe 7 relief players, because I was trying to count them and I feel like there was somebody I was missing. There was Naz Hillman. So I can think of 5.
They'll be calling people up.
Oh, Mo Jefferson. I think that's 6. They might have to call people. But yeah, let's hope they don't.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I hope not, obviously. But
now you've been asking me, and I haven't told you, are they going to change the teams?
Yes.
So in the article from Winsider, from the great Michael Waterloo on Bluesky, who wrote announcing this news, it was noted in the article that the teams will retain the core of what they were last year. So to me, that means probably at least 3 players or 4 players are staying on each squad, and then they might shuffle things around. But it's not a guarantee. They're not locking any rosters from last season, but I don't think certain players are going to be, bouncing from their squads.
I think that probably means, you're starting 3. That's a core.
Yeah, I would say. Kind of a question mark. It was interesting because in this article, a player who had played in Unrivaled year 1, but asked to remain anonymous, said, "Yeah, we don't really know like what team we're going to end up on, but they're under the assumption that they're going to be, going to different teams, that players will be changing teams." But again, not really sure.
Okay. I mean, I don't hate that. Actually, I would love that for players to go to different teams. They're all together anyway. It's not like they're moving across the country.
Right.
They're still all interacting and hanging out. So it doesn't really matter whose team you're on. And I think that makes it more fun to be able to, mix up the relationships and the dynamics.
Especially in this majorly important off season where players are going to be talking. Like we've said this before, but to be a fly on the wall in Miami during these conversations, when I shouldn't say none of them, when a lot of these players are going to be unsigned, that's how you get a Brittany Griner to Atlanta, because of Unrivaled. And what could be the next case of that from playing together could be pretty sick.
So we don't know if it's going to be like a draft situation like it was last year
Right.
with the remainders. It probably will be.
I have to think that there's going to be the similar meeting with the coaches.
Well, I guess it wasn't a draft last year.
It was the coaches cooking up the squads.
Yeah,
sitting
all
at a
together.
table.
Yeah.
And making balanced rosters,
Mm-hmm.
which ended up not being the most balanced all the time.
Well, people
but
were hurt.
you never really know. Most of the coaches will be returning. So, Adam Harrington, you gonna be there?
Our whiteboard guy.
Yes, blank whiteboard guy. He might be back. They're still in the process of interviewing the other two coaches for the new squads. And also important to note that if you're unfamiliar, also with the format of Unrivaled, they play 4 quarters, and the fourth quarter is the Elam ending, where whichever team is leading, they add 11 points to their total, and that is the target score that needs to be attained for either team to win. So if a team's behind by 5, they would have to score 16, whereas the team in the lead would need to score 11 in the fourth quarter to win the game. They're keeping that format. They're not changing anything there, which I think is a great idea. Don't need to break it because it was a blast watching it last year, and some of the comebacks were epic, and that is just what that format caters to. So I'm glad to see the news of we are confirming we're not going to change any of the rules. Same 7-minute quarters, 3 quarters of 7 minutes, and then the Elam ending. So that's all the information that we have. 2 new clubs.
They are adding another day.
Yes. Also adding a 4th day to the calendar.
What day?
To the weekly calendar. Actually, I don't know for sure which day of the week it's going to be.
They didn't say.
Not that I could see in the article, but that means that they're not going to play back-to-backs, from what I heard. So they're gonna give them spacing because of that 4th day, which that's definitely the right way to do it. You should not have them playing back-to-backs.
That should help with the injuries.
Exactly. So all this to say, exciting to learn about the new 18 players that they're going to add. We're going to see announcements soon in November.
See some hints.
We will be taking hints, and hopefully the hint makers are up to speed and give us good hints instead of the completely esoteric, confusing ones that I feel like some of the players were. I remember just pulling my hair out to try to figure it out, and then we would be wrong every single time. Mm-hmm. But regardless, I'm very excited to have Unrivaled back on our TV very soon. But we have WNBA playoffs first and foremost, and then CBA negotiations too. So it's going to be exciting. And expansion drafts.
We all know that working in a small business means you wear many hats, but sometimes you really need an extra pair of hands. Upwork is how good companies find great and trusted freelance talent. With more than 2 decades of experience, with a simple and ambitious goal to pioneer a better way of working. Posting a job on Upwork is easy with no cost to join. You can register, browse freelance profiles, get help drafting a job post, or even book a consultation. From there, you connect with freelancers that get you and can easily hire them to take your business to the next level. Upwork makes the entire process easier, simpler, and more affordable with industry-low fees. Post a job today and hire tomorrow with Upwork. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com.
All right, steak lovers, this one's for you. You know that moment when you slice into a perfectly cooked, melt-in-your-mouth steak? Pure magic. And that's exactly what Heartland Steak Company delivers. Hand-cut, Midwest-raised, premium meat, straight to your door, because you deserve the best. Growing up in Kansas with a butcher for a stepfather, I learned what real quality beef looks like. When Heartland Steak Company sent me their steaks for my honest opinion, let me tell you, they absolutely delivered. They know their craft, and it showed in every single bite. Build your perfect steak box or grab a grill-ready bundle. Either way, you're getting top-tier flavor. And here's the best part. $25 off any order of $175 or more. Just use promo code WOMEN at checkout. So go ahead, treat yourself. Head to heartlandstateco.com, load up your cart, and don't forget, promo code WOMEN gets you that $25 off.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like aloe or Skims, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. With Shop Pay, that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts are going abandoned and way more sales happening. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell whatever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
Let's get on to talking about the last team that we need to discuss, the LA Sparks, as mentioned earlier. Kristen, our Sparks did not.
Yeah, your Sparks.
Yeah, our Sparks did not make the playoffs after a pretty solid second half of the season for the squad after a slow start to the year. New head coach, Lynn Roberts, some new major players, Kelsey Plum. Give me your first vibes on the season as a whole for the Sparks. And let's start there.
Yeah, I think it was really a bummer for a lot of people that the Sparks couldn't make the playoffs. I think I saw so many people rooting for them to make it, to get that final push at the end of the season, but they had a very hard schedule at the end of the season. Like from seeds 2 to 9 or even 10, like they had the hardest schedule of any of those teams. So we knew it would be an uphill battle, and unfortunately they did not get there, but they still had some super impressive wins throughout the whole season. Like they were able to beat the Storm multiple times. They really have put up a fight, and like I think a lot of people fell in love with this team with the addition of Kelsey Plum, with their, with their new head coach, which like very much she has stayed very under the radar. I really don't see any chatter about Lynn Roberts, which perhaps for the better, because it just like adds so much pressure when all media eyes are on you. But yeah, I think it was disappointing at the end of the day. Like right now, it was disappointing that they couldn't make the playoffs, but in general, I think this was a positive season for the Sparks. They obviously improved from last year. They got their huge free agent who has made it clear that she wants to stay.
Right.
Their rookies from last year and their young players are developing so well and playing so well together. We finally saw Cameron Brink come back, which was a major thing in the middle of the year, which I think helped them, from their slow start. So a lot to talk about, but in general, it's better than last year. Maybe not as good as they hoped it would be, but still positive, I think.
Yeah, and I remember that you were like, I don't know anything about Lynn Roberts. I don't know what her deal is. She was very, like you said, under the radar. We didn't know how she was going to fare, especially in LA, which is a basketball market that has a lot of strong fans, a lot of vocal fans. But as far as these new coaches go, I think she did a pretty good job. I mean, she was certainly better than, Chris Koklanis, Tyler Marsh, Rashid Mezian.
She was given much.
She was also given a much better better roster to work with. Of course, But
she's not like obviously doing things that the players don't like.
Right.
You know.
There wasn't, as far as I know, there wasn't really a lot of drama for this team throughout the season. It was mostly just an uphill battle from an injury perspective. I mean, Ray Burrell, a player that we thought was going to be a much improved player and still was a much improved player, got hurt on the first day of the season and then was out for considerable amount of time. Rickea Jackson dealt with some injuries throughout the season. I mean, they were buoyed by KP, Azare, De'Erica, who were all very solid all year, dependable in maintaining in the starting lineup. But like, they weren't the deepest squad. Julie Alamond, a player who popped off for them in the second half of the season, didn't really start to do that until after Eurobasket was over. So like, they went through some transformations throughout the season, and you can kind of tell by the arc of the wins and losses that they had. But if I were the front office and you're bringing in Lynn Roberts, I would be very content to move to year 2, let Lynn continue to build up her relationships with these players. Like you said, Kelsey Plum does seem very committed to staying in LA. And when you know, given the upcoming expansion drafts, that you're going to have Kelsey Plum, Rickea Jackson, Cameron Brink, the Sparks are very set up very well going into next year with all the chaos, and LA being a place that people want to live. They could I could see them being like, flip the switch and go from whatever they are, 20 and 24 to 30 and 14. I wouldn't be like completely stunned. I just feel like they have that trajectory.
No, totally. It really helps to have those 2 solid rookies in Rickea and Cam. And something that happened in the past couple weeks was Rickea Jackson became the first player from the 2024 draft class to reach 1,000 points. Obviously beating Caitlin, because Caitlin hasn't played many of the games this year. She would have gotten there if she did. But Rickea, of all players, was able to do that. So that was just like great for Rickea and for the Sparks' future in general. She has really grown into a very solid player. And you mentioned Kelsey, De'Erica, and Azare. I think like the 3 of them being they are the solid core right now, or they were for this season. They played every single game.
Yeah, I think Kelsey missed 1 game with an ankle or something like that.
And
might not play tonight.
And they got very like good play out of them. Like, I would say probably one of the best seasons for De'Erica that she's had, the best season that Azare has ever had, and like a very good season out of Kelsey Plum, as she now is like had to learn how to play with all new people, a whole new team for the first time in her career. So it was just like, those aspects are very impressive. And I guess that could be kudos to Lynn Roberts and to the coaching staff in general to be able to get this success out of these players, some of the best seasons that the players have ever had.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, like, a very, very great seasons for these 3 players. Kelsey Plum is an all-W player. She played all-W ball. If she's first team all-W, I wouldn't be shocked. I said a few weeks ago that it was Kelsey Mitchell instead of Kelsey Plum. I don't know. I could certainly see it going the other way. She's been one of the 4 best guards all season. And I was so curious if she was going to be able to be that lead player after what we saw in Vegas last season. We were hesitant about that trade. We still thought it was a good trade for LA to like set your offense around Kelsey and make her your head of your franchise. But when you have the 1-2 punch of what Kelsey Plum brings you from beyond the arc, and then what De'Erica has given you in the paint, I mean, she's leading. She led the league, if not, I depending on the last day, I don't know how it could change, but she is leading the league in scoring in the paint. which is why the team is, getting the highest percentage of makes of any team in the league.
Like the two of them in total points this year are third and fifth.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is.
Like two of the best players in the whole league, two of the top 5 in terms of scoring are on this team.
And it's why I'm kind of bummed that they didn't make the playoffs, because when you have as incredibly potent of an offense as they do at times, that is what makes for exciting playoff upsets, because you could be the team that just gets crazy, crazy hot and it's your night. You knock off a big dog because you're there. And now, despite everything that we said, one of the big reasons that they are not here is because of their defensive struggles. We heard last night on the broadcast, or not last night, but from the other night when they were playing against Phoenix, the Phoenix announcers on the broadcast said, the Sparks, they're just going to let you score and they're going to try to push the pace and outscore you. That is kind of the type of game that they play. It is we're going to outscore you, incredibly high paced. I think they're top 3 in the league in pace. So they want to have as many possessions as possible. They shoot it quick. They shoot it early. Like there are so many plays when we were watching the Sparks team that Azare, like barely jumping, just snap of the fingers. She gets a touch early in the shot clock, puts it up, and like knocks down the 3. Now, unfortunately, in some of the games that we watched, she was a little cold from beyond the arc, but she's like a 39% 3-point shooter, very much developed that in her game. To have a big like Azare who can shoot the ball is like an invaluable thing for a franchise. Now, I don't really know where Azare is going to be next year, if Azare is going to look for a different opportunity than LA, but like she, from a skills perspective, has a lot of things that you want to kind of build a team around, if I'm being completely honest. So I'm curious what to see, Azare's, as she continues to mature in the league, as she continues to grow, like what her ceiling could be. But she's been a player that has impressed me all season. She's been in the conversation for most improved. And like you said, all of her stats are basically up. So it was, despite everything, a good year for Azare Stevens, which we could tell coming off of Unrivaled.
Yeah, definitely. I've loved watching Azare. Her 3-point percentage is not, it's up 3%. That's pretty good.
And her attempts are up, right? She's up a half a 3, 4.4. Last I checked. Yeah. Up from 4 last season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're using her more in that way, and she's like living up to it for sure. Just her field goal percentage in general is up currently 8% from last year. Yeah.
I mean, that is key. Like that is the key. I feel like if you're looking at a player developing, the most improved player, they're increasing their shooting percentage, getting better shots, understanding like when to take a good open look, knocking down more shots. She is like the key type of player that you look for as a most improved candidate. Now, if what was happening with Veronica Burton in Golden State, where she's clearly like, wow, might be all W level talent out of what felt like kind of nowhere, that's why the conversation flipped. But for a while, believe it or not, Azare was well situated in that conversation as most improved. And even if you're not number 1 most improved, it's very clear that her game has improved, and that's going to get her a nice payday. Someone's going to give her a bag because of all the things that she can do.
That's true. Very good time to improve like this.
I want to go back to Rakia, who you've already talked about a little bit, and project her game a little bit more, because she's like already going to be a proverbial all-star starting like.
Well, she hasn't been an all-star.
I know. But next year, if she's not an all-star, I would be stunned because she is as complete a player as anyone that you're gonna see. Like, I see all these redraft articles of like redrafting her rookie class plus last year's rookie class. She's like 3 or 4. She's a franchise cornerstone player, and she made it pretty obvious in year 1, but she made it even more obvious in year 2 that like whether Kelsey Plum decides to stay here for another 5 years, like end her career in LA, who's to say that? But Rickea Jackson is the player that I think this front office needs to prioritize over anybody else, because she can shoot it from 3, she can drive, she can finish through contact, she's long, she's rangy, she's tough. Like, I talked about how Azare has all the pieces. Rickea is like a click more than that to me, and at such a valuable position as like a true wing player. She's not small. Like, that is going to be a huge thing for this team going forward. I think like Rickea Jackson is one of the, 10 most important players in the league, just from like, if you project all the way forward. I don't know if she could be an MVP, but she should be like an all W player at least once in her career.
I mean, I would hope so. That I see it when we watch. It is such like just an interesting time right now, because there's such a unique opportunity to like restart a team this upcoming season. So you're right. Like, having Rickea, I think it's having Kelsey, Rickea, and Azare, who are like 3 different positions, 3 different sizes, all being so solid, who you can build your new team around. That's very cool. Like, you're right. Going forward, I do think they should be prioritizing Rickea, and I think they are. Yeah. There was some drama at the beginning of this year where when Rickea had her concussion, and it was like, well, is she okay from her, like, is she better from her concussion, but she's still not coming back? Like, we're not sure. She was out for personal reasons. People were saying, oh, she's like not happy on the team. We were talking about last time, who was it? That like, Angel, who supposedly removed everything about the sky from her.
Yeah, that did happen. Did Rickea do that?
Yeah, it was like, Rickea removed the sparks from her social media. But like, she seems very happy now. She came back. She's been playing great. So I think we're fine. I think she's good. Yeah.
And I also think like she's just got like, she's like an incredibly marketable player too. Like, she's the type of player that you should also want to be around.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like aloe or skins, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. With Shop Pay, that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts are going abandoned and way more sales happening. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell whatever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Skins uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
Ever felt defeated by cravings? You're not alone. Henry Meds is here to help support your weight management journey.
Since I joined 4 months ago, I've lost 25 pounds and it has changed my life.
Henry Med's personalized compounded GLP-1 meds shipped to your door. Take back control with treatments designed to reduce appetite. Schedule a free online evaluation with a licensed provider at henrymeds.com/audio and get $100 off your first month. Results may vary. Not all patients are eligible. Compounded medications are not FDA approved. Consult a healthcare provider to determine if treatment is right for you.
Confronting high credit card debt can feel scary. But the good news is, if you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, financial relief options are now available. National Debt Relief is currently offering debt relief designed to reduce what you owe, fast-tracking your way to being debt-free. If you qualify for debt relief, you may be able to pay back significantly less than what you owe and save thousands of dollars. Imagine only paying one low monthly program payment you can afford and saving money as you become debt-free. National Debt Relief has already helped bring debt relief to over 550,000 U.S. consumers, earning thousands of five-star reviews and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. You're stronger than your credit card debt. Take the first step and visit nationaldebtrelief.com to see what debt relief you qualify for. That's nationaldebtrelief.com.
Now, like, we should talk about, other market. They've got a lot of marketable players on their team, to be completely honest. We haven't really talked a ton about Cameron Brink, who I apparently learned this week, she, of all players in the W, has been on the most slam covers. She's been on 3 slam.
I think they just said of the Sparks.
Was it just Sparks players or was it active players? Because that kind of blew my mind. But the fact to be a 3-time slam cover artist, art cover model already in her 2-season career is kind of crazy.
Does it surprise you?
I mean, no. She's
models.
She's a model, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Cam, because we waited to talk about the Sparks until Cam came back. And then we had to shuffle our calendar again after she was back and talk about other teams. And we ended up leaving the Sparks to the end here. But for all intents and purposes, Cameron Brink is back and healthy, playing basketball. I as far as I know, watching this week, she didn't look like she was dealing with anything. No like weird ankle. Her knees are good. So it's nice to have her back on the court after, how shocking of an ACL injury that hit her this last season. And, it's exciting. We've already talked about Unrivaled. She is one of the players that signed a 2-year contract with Unrivaled. So she should be there for this upcoming season in the off season. And I think she has a lot of room to grow and a lot of things she needs to work on in her game. But to be fair, she's like barely played 1 full season worth of basketball. She might have.
She hasn't.
Might as well have been a rookie again this season.
Last year, she only played 15. And she started 15 last year.
Right.
This year, she started 0.
Right. Came off the bench.
Because she came back. Right. But she only played 18 games.
So she's not even at 33.
She hasn't even played a full season yet. So it's hard to look at her stats because it's like, well, she hasn't had a chance to fully see how a whole season goes. Like last year she played the beginning of the season. Now she's playing the end. But you can't really tell just by looking at the stats. She this year played 13 minutes, and last year was playing 22 minutes.
Only 13 minutes. Yeah. I mean,
right, averaging 13. So she was on a minutes restriction for a really long time also. So you really can't. But I think Cam is going to be great when she finally has a chance to play fully and be free with her playing.
Right. And not be nervous about the knee or whatever. Yeah. No, I agree entirely. We have noticed, at least it's been very apparent when you watch her come in, she's not necessarily that helpful right now as an offensive player. I was just looking at the on-off comparisons when she's on the court versus when she's off the court. The team's offensive rating goes down 13 points when she's on. Their defensive rating goes up because she adds steals and blocks when she's there because of her incredibly long length. But she will occasionally, watching her this week, I'll go wow when she knocks down a three, because she has the makings of, another stretch big, which would be crazy for this team if they decide to keep Azare around. Like Azare, long and can shoot. Rakia, long and can shoot. Cam, long and can shoot. When you have Kelsey Plum, who's, not a top tier defender, but certainly a trier most of the time. Like a player like Cam can help cover up some of those defensive deficiencies. Certainly. Like that is, first and foremost, the thing that is best about her game right now and why she was the second overall pick this previous season. But she does have a lot of room to work on her offensive game and to be in the right place to help her teammates, find good shots to feed her. But, she can get down the lane sometimes when there's an opening and make an easy layup. Or like I said, take a shot when it's open. But she does kind of slow things down a little bit for the team.
Well,
but again, only 13
that's
minutes a game.
Bad.
No, I don't think it's always bad. But like we said, with with them being like a high-paced team, sometimes it's tough to switch it and become a slower-paced team.
Yeah.
With her on the court.
Yeah, she does also get into foul trouble.
Yeah,
pretty frequently. So she has to learn to control her hands as she's going up for a block. I love watching her block.
Yes.
I love it. Like, I would watch highlights of that all day. Because
great block artist.
When she does it cleanly, it's like, whoa, like, how did you get your hand like only on the ball? It's honestly like beautiful to watch her do that. But I am so curious of what they're going to do with Cam next year moving forward. Because she is a stretch big. She's working on her threes. She's hit, a couple pretty nice threes, but sometimes is missing them. She's shooting them 30%. So not horrible.
Slightly below league average.
Yeah. And she's 23. She's very young. She has a lot of time to grow, but I just wonder, like, I think she wants to stay in LA. Obviously, she's still on her rookie contract, but like, would they start her next year? They started her last year. I think she would like to be a starter, but I don't know if she can be a starter in a team where you have De'Erica Hamby, who is just like performing so much better in terms of scoring, and Azare, who now has grown immensely, and Rakia. So I just like worry that she won't start when she really should be starting. And that it's just like worrying me what her placement is going to end up being on this team.
Sure. I think that the easiest answer there is most likely one of I don't think there's a desire. There should be a desire to try to run it back and to try to keep the same starting five. I think one of De'Erica or Azare is likely on another team next year, and Cam is playing in the place of whoever that is. Now, De'Erica, leading scorer in the paint, you lose that, but you would add Cam's defense to a starting lineup if you were to keep that. And then if you do keep Azare, of course, there's a likely scenario where they don't have either of De'Erica and Azare, and then it becomes pretty obvious that, you're going to start Cam. In my opinion, I wouldn't worry for Cam. I think the position is there. I don't think they have a lot of, I think they're one of the easier teams. They're just one of the easier teams to think about next season. They kind of have it basically all together. And, it's not going to be Sarah Ashley Barker cracking into the starting lineup, or Alyssa Peely on a second-year contract cracking into the starting. They don't have any other, Ray Burrell maybe could crack if they don't decide to draft a guard, but then they're drafting a big.
No,
I don't think that's going to be how it's going to work. No. So I think she's good. I think she's going to be I pretty much see a guaranteed starter, barring any, injury nonsense in Unrivaled.
Yeah.
I think things are good for Kim.
I think they want to start her. It just gets complicated if everyone else stays.
Sure. Which is why I think they have to prioritize a smaller, stronger core of 4 and go from there.
Sure.
Who haven't we talked about? I want to talk about Sweet Baby Ray a little bit. Because I think that what we saw in the last game, not the last game of the season, but this game against Phoenix, the second to last game, Ray was all over the place. And she's kind of reminds me a lot of a slightly taller Jordan Canada.
Slightly.
I should say slightly. Yeah. I should say a much taller Jordan Canada.
She's 6'2".
God, I always forget that she's that tall. I always think of her as 6 foot.
She's taller than I thought.
Yeah, a pretty long guard. I mean, this team is just full of longer than you expect players. But Ray, so active, cares so much about getting a loose ball, getting an O board, finishing really well. She had this one move under the basket where she faked a dish. The defender ran right past her, and then she pulled it back. Easy layup. Nobody around her. She's got this bag that we saw her developing in Unrivaled, and I'm hopeful that if she sticks around on this Sparks team in the future, that she could be 6th player of the year next year. If she's not in this starting lineup, this fictional starting lineup that we're coming up with, or if she goes to any other team, I hope that she has a similar kind of runway that she's had in LA, because I think she's one of my, the more enjoyable players to watch to me, because she really does just give a damn. And I think she's half a shot away from being a really, really good player as well. I think a lot of the deficiencies in her game are just being a little tougher sometimes. But, she was coming off of a major injury. We thought she was going to be done for the year that first night when she was huddled on the floor. But fortunately, we got to see her for as many games as we did this season. I think she missed 16. I believe I wrote that down somewhere, but
she's played in 27.
27. So you assume she plays tonight. That'd be 28, 16 games. Not a bad year after what we were kind of expecting on night one.
No, Ray Burrell's had a good year. I'm obviously happy she got to play and didn't tear her ACL like many other players this year. Literally the first 5 seconds of the first game. She gets so much action coming off the bench. I feel like they really trust her to kind of run things and take a lot of the shots in this secondary rotation. They could keep Azare and De'Erica in and have them, still being the primary scorer when it's all bench around them. But really, when the bench comes in, it's Ray who's taking most of the shots. So I think that's cool. I think that's cool how they've decided to set that up, kind of. And she has been better this year, like you said. Her field goal percentage, and I know she played 10 less games than last year, but her field goal percentage is up 7%.
And her 3-point shooting is about the same, you said?
33, same as last year.
Same number of attempts?
Oh, attempts, 0.5 more.
Okay. So she's attempting a little bit more. Yeah, I look, she's in a reserve role still on this team.
Yeah.
She ended up being that, pop off the bench.
Well, something I will say is we have no idea. We don't know how this expansion draft is going to work. But if it's
she could be the face of the Portland Fire.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If it's you protect 6 again,
with not knowing the rules, if they can protect unsigned players, that's where it gets confusing.
Very confusing.
But yeah, she might not be. I mean, if it's protecting 6, I mean, I'd be protecting her, right? Just doing the quick exercise without too much thought. I mean, you're protecting. Let's say you protect Kelsey, Azure, Rakia, Cam. That's 4. And then are you protecting De'Erica? That would be 5. Ray Burrell would be 6. So unless you like want to prioritize Sarah Ashley Barker's rookie contract, but honestly, she didn't have the best year. So I would much rather have those 6 and then just try to figure out how to pay them. The problem might be that would be an extremely top heavy. Well, it wouldn't be too top heavy, but you'd have 3 players on new contract, 4 players with Ray on a new contract. She's going to be an interesting player to see like what she gets paid in my eyes.
Yeah, like your solid bench.
Right. You were like good role player.
Yeah.
What does that market look like? Mm-hmm. Oh, there's so much fascination to me of like who's going to be the max players, who are going to be like the really good, solid middle of the road contracts, who takes a 1-year like prove it deal to try to get a max next year. That there's going to be all sorts of things.
I don't think that's going to really. Maybe
it could. It certainly could.
So we think Julie Allemond will not be on this team next year.
Yeah, and we should give credit because Julie Allemond this week did something that nobody had ever done.
Phenomenal.
Before. She scored 21 points on 8 of 8 shooting, did not miss a shot, had 5 steals. And it was the only time that a player had ever had 5 steals and 20 points without missing a shot. Very specific stat, but
it is good.
Yeah, and she's a good point guard. I respectfully, Julie Allemond, I was not familiar with your game, but damn good player. Mm-hmm. Damn good player.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have much to say after that, but like she's the type of player that, I mean, she started a ton on this Sparks team, especially down the stretch. And, they were winning games. So how much credit does that go to Julie Allemond? Certainly some amount of credit because she was very trustworthy, especially for Lynn in that role. Could have a quicker shot sometimes, but like one of those like really solid Eurobasket players that, without Eurobasket next year, maybe she is set for another, important role on a different team or on the Sparks again.
Mm-hmm. I would like to mention Julie Von Lowe.
Sure.
Because Julie Von Lowe really got a short end of the stick in this season.
Oh my God, yeah.
She was on the Valkyries. Mm-hmm. She was on the Mystics last year.
Yep.
Got picked, who I thought that the Mystics would protect her.
Thought so too.
They didn't.
Which probably for the better.
Yeah. She got picked by the Valkyries, left to go to Eurobasket, and the Valkyries did a lot of waving around Eurobasket.
Yep. Because they had a lot of international players on their team.
It worked out for them. But Julie Von Lowe gets waived while she's on a plane coming home from Eurobasket. She won Eurobasket and missed the closing ceremony because she's on a plane going back to Golden State and she finds out that they have waived her. That
brutal.
Sucks.
Like on a plane, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. Terrible. Like, has to be terrible feeling.
Yeah.
But she got the call from LA and she booked it. I remember the story that she was like waiting outside of
Barclays Center.
Oh, it was Barclays.
Yes.
Not even in LA.
No, because they were playing in New York.
She's like, I'm ready. Let me in. Hey.
So I do appreciate the Sparks for giving her a chance for sure. She has not had a great season.
A very much minimized role after starting as many games as she did last season.
Yeah.
She started like 36 games or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like watching her. And she had some high highs this season. There was that one game where she just couldn't miss for Golden State very early in the season, but like, yeah, kind of a bit of a sad end of the season for Julie, but wishing her another opportunity next year, you know, despite the smaller role this year. Hopefully she gets paid. That's kind of it for everything that I have to say about the players, but I do have one last shout out. Need to shout out Sparks announcer Rashawn Haylock, because as much as I've told you about how much I enjoy, you know, your Brendan Glasheens, your Dick Faines, some of these other great announcers around the league, Rashawn Haylock, you're always going to be number one in our hearts, because the amount of times that this guy says attacking the baseline,
I lost count.
Like so often,
like at least 5 times a game he says it.
He never says attack the baseline.
Attacking.
He says attacking baseline.
Yeah, it's the same. And I don't hear one other announcer say it.
No.
So
it's so sick.
Huge props.
It's like, ooh.
Like I may just have to be a Sparks fan for that.
You just go up to him and say, attack it. And he knows exactly what you're talking about. It makes me so happy to hear that.
I'm like, oh, he said it.
Just makes you feel a little warm and cozy inside.
He's one of us.
Yes. Thank you, Rashawn. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for our conversation about the LA Sparks. We talked about every team, all 13 teams. We're probably gonna tinker around next year with how the show is going to be formatted now that there's going to be 15 teams.
Yeah, that's a tight schedule.
Schedule's going to get a little crammed, and then eventually there's going to be 18 teams. We can't keep doing it like this necessarily week in, week out. We will be continuing to talk about every team. Don't worry about that. No teams are going to be left behind. It just might be some weeks we're talking about 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Instead of just focusing one way or the other. Just want to make you aware of that. And we're still going to do preseason stuff and talk about every team individually. But we got through this. We got through this year. And like you said, last day of the regular season, we got playoffs around the corner. Again, if you want to send us an email, you could do so. attackthebaseline@gmail.com. Connect with us on Bluesky, Instagram, TikTok, at ATBPod. 5-star rating and reviews wherever it is that you listen. Press subscribe to make sure that you get the latest and greatest from Attack the Baseline. And yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for these games on Sunday. It's going to be so exciting. That's going to do it for me. Kristen, I'm staring at the baseline. What are we going to do?
Attack it.
Attack the Baseline. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back with playoff talk so soon.
Ever felt defeated by cravings? You're not alone. Henry Meds is here to help support your weight management journey.
Since I joined 4 months ago, I've lost 25 pounds and it has changed my life.
Henry Meds' personalized compounded GLP-1 meds shipped to your door. Take back control with treatments designed to reduce appetite. Schedule a free online evaluation with a licensed provider at henrymeds.com/audio and get $100 off your first month. Results may vary. Not all patients are eligible. Compounded medications are not FDA approved. Consult a healthcare provider to determine if treatment is right for you.
If you're shopping while working, eating, or even listening to this podcast, then you know and love the thrill of a deal. But are you getting the deal and cash back? Rakuten shoppers do. They get the brands they love, savings, and cash back. And you can get it too. Start getting cash back at your favorite stores like Levi's, Plow and Hearth, Adidas, Sephora, and Neiman Marcus. Stack sales on top of cash back and feel what it's like to know you're maximizing the savings. And it's easy to use. And you get your cash back sent to you through PayPal or check. The idea is simple. Stores pay Rakuten for sending them shoppers, and Rakuten shares the money with you as cash back. Download the free Rakuten app or go to Rakuten.com to start saving today. It's the most rewarding way to shop. That's RAKUTEN. Rakuten.com.